The number one problem that a lot of us face in today's time is procrastination, getting distracted easily, not being able to do what you want to do, and then feeling guilty about it, regretting why did you waste your time, and basically getting into a spiral because of that. But today I'm here to share some of my tips that helped me to not procrastinate, and I hope that it helps you too. Assalamu alaikum everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Nida and I help people get into their self-love, self-development journey through sharing my writings, my experiences and everything in between. So let's get started. Now something that I have realized with procrastination is that we procrastinate with tasks that are basically too tedious for us. Like if we feel that we're going to fail at the task, or if we feel that it's too much of hard work, or if we feel that it's going to take us a long time, we tend to procrastinate with those tasks. But sometimes those tasks are important and then we end up getting into a spiral about why did we not do it early. But in order to stop procrastinating or to get yourself moving, we need to know the reasons why we procrastinate in the first place. According to me, there are 3 reasons. The first one being fear of failure. And I have experienced this with myself too. Whenever there's a task that requires too much of my hard work or that is a bit scary to me, for example, I used to put it off as much as I can. But eventually I had to do it because it was important. If you're somebody who's studying, maybe there's a subject that you don't like because it requires too much of your concentration or focus, but you're not able to give it. So you tend to procrastinate over studying that subject. The second reason is lack of clarity. Sometimes when you're trying to do some work, we usually are very vague about it. Let's take building a business, for example. So if you just think that I have to build a business, but you don't know what it is about, or you don't know where to start, maybe you do not have the experience or knowledge, but if you don't know where to start, you will never be able to start. That is also one of the reasons that so many of us tend to sleep on our dreams or on our goals because we are just not clear about it. Because we always tend to think of the bigger picture and not break it down in smaller steps so that we can actually pursue it. The third and the most important reason is task aversion. We think that we're trying to avoid that task, when in reality, we're trying to avoid the feeling that comes with doing that task. Now think for a moment. We do not procrastinate on fun things. We do not procrastinate on things that make us feel good. We do not procrastinate if we want to go out with our friends or just do anything that makes us feel nice and happy. But as soon as it is something that requires our efforts and concentration, we tend to put it off, which means we try to avoid tasks that make us feel bored or make us anxious or feel overwhelmed about it. This means that you're trying to avoid the negative feeling attached to the task and not the task itself. So those were the 3 reasons why we procrastinate. Now I'll let you know some of the things that you can do to overcome procrastination. The first thing that you can do regarding that particular task is to make it visible. Like, don't be vague about it. Bring clarity into whatever you're doing. So if you're saying that I have to study maths or science or whatever it is, instead of saying that I have to study this, tell yourself that I'm going to do 5 minutes of research about whatever chapter that is, or that I'm just going to write down the important points that I know about that subject or that chapter. If you're trying to do some work, for example, writing an essay, instead of saying I have to write that essay, the topic is so boring and overwhelming, just tell that I'm going to open my laptop or notebook, whatever it is, and I'm going to just write 5 sentences or like 2 sentences. Just do the simplest task. Break your bigger task into smaller ones so that it is achievable to your mind. It makes your mind feel that you can achieve things. And further, you don't end up avoiding that task at all. The second thing is, and this is my personal favorite because I always do this now, which is to focus on starting instead of finishing. Now, I'm a person who needs to have everything in order. I think I've talked about this before, but I just want everything in order. If I'm starting something, it has to get finished. Now, most of the time, what I did was I used to think about how I'll finish that task, and I did not concentrate on how we start. And I think that is the problem with a lot of people. But you need to shift your focus from what will happen when I finish this task to I need to start and I will start now. Forget about how it will end up. Forget about how you're going to feel when it is already done. Focus on just starting that task. Do the smallest thing, literally. I always say this. Whenever you are trying to do something and it's too overwhelming for you, just do the smallest thing, the smallest task associated with it, and then take further steps. One more thing that I'd like to add is sometimes you're scared of doing that thing because we think that we're terrible at it. So if you're scared about doing that thing because you think that you're not good at it, then you will not end up doing it. Now here's the time when you have to allow yourself, basically give yourself permission to be terrible at it. Especially if it is something new. You cannot be expecting yourself to just know things without even trying. That's not how it works. We do something, we gain experience, then we learn, and then we stop making mistakes. So instead of telling yourself that, oh, I'm not good at it already without even trying, you're just wasting your potential, to be honest. And if it still sounds too daunting to you, then you can put a timer on your phone and tell yourself that, okay, I'll do this for 5 minutes only, or like 2 minutes only, trust me, you will end up going on, because that's how it works. Sometimes when I try to do something and I'm terrible at it, I tell myself that, okay, we'll only do this for 5 minutes and then we'll see how we feel about it. And then I end up continuing, which is what I wanted in the first place. The next thing that you can do is to design your environment in a way that you can focus on the task at hand. So if you're studying, you might want to put your phone in another room. Basically, you should try avoiding sitting in a room where there's a TV, because then maybe you'll end up watching it within your breaks. Try to avoid doing these things when you're already procrastinating a lot. Another thing that you can add is like you can create a ritual before starting that task. If you're trying to write something, trying to read something, trying to study, whatever it is, maybe you can have tea, maybe you can just sit in silence for a few moments and think about that task, breaking it down into smaller parts to help you. This basically helps in sending signals to your brain about, okay, this is the time when we have to do this thing. We are getting ready for doing this thing. So that procrastination becomes a little bit harder. The last and kind of fun thing is to schedule your procrastination. Now, I usually schedule my overthinking sometimes, but you can schedule your procrastination. Trust me when I say this, it works, because it works with my overthinking as well. So sometimes when I'm overthinking a lot, I'm having obsessive thoughts about something, what I do is I tell myself that, okay, we are going to think about it, but we're going to think about it at 7 p.m. or like 11 a.m., whatever time. And we're going to think about it from 11 to 11:10, 7 to 7:05, whatever fits your schedule. And then at that time, I'm telling you, literally do that thing. If you're overthinking, think about everything. Overthink it. Literally overthink it in those 10 minutes. You're procrastinating, procrastinate in those 10 minutes. As soon as that time is over, stop. Tell yourself that, okay, we have procrastinated, we have done the overthinking, now we have to do the task. Another thing that I'd like to add is, which no advice can ever beat, is that you have to be committed. If you're trying to do something, you have to have that commitment towards that task. You have to tell yourself that it is important, and procrastinating or avoiding that task will not solve the problem, it will only increase it. You have to have this mindset shift. You have to tell yourself that I'm not going to act on how I feel. Just because I feel like procrastinating does not mean that I have to do it. And I kid you not, this is the number one advice that I can give anybody whenever they're trying to do literally anything. It does not matter how you perform at that thing. It does not matter if you're terrible at it. If it is important, you have to do it, and you have to tell yourself this. You have to get into a habit of doing important things irrespective of how you feel. Another thing that I'd like to add is that be compassionate with yourself. It is okay if you sometimes procrastinate. If you cannot perform well at anything, don't let that thing make you feel that you're not good at anything or that you're not enough. Be compassionate with yourself, be patient with yourself, and allow yourself to make mistakes, procrastinate sometimes. It is okay. But overall, you should be able to do the things that you want to do because it is important to you. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you liked it. I hope that it helped you in any way. If there's any other thing you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. Till then, stay safe.